Hello, very good morning students. In the last class, we discussed about introduction to genetics, that is in the chapter principles of inheritance. So there are some concepts I have discussed in the last class, that is about the genetics. It's nothing but the branch of biology that deals with the study of heredity and variation. Heredity is nothing but the transfer of characters or inheritance of characters from parents to progeny, from one generation to another generation. That is what we call as heredity. Whereas variation is nothing but the differences in characters among the individuals or the offsprings along with their parents as well as with their siblings. That is what we call as variations. Okay. See, the pioneer work in the field of genetics that was conducted by Gregor John Mendel, who was born in 1822, July 22nd. So he completed his graduation from the University of Clermont. He is a graduate of philosophy. So later he joined as a monk or a priest in Augustinian monastery. So where he studied botany. So then he conducted hybridization work on pea plant. Okay. So I have said the reasons why Mendel has selected pea plant, because of its short lifespan, easily observable characters, and moreover it is a herbaceous plant. It bears many number of flowers. So where the flowers will be suitable for both self-pollination as well as for cross-pollination. Easy to conduct cross-pollination in pea plant. It bears many number of seeds. It gives yield very early. So for these reasons, Mendel has selected pea plant for his hybridization work. So finally, he came with the 7 contrasting characters. At that time, no one was recognized Mendel's work. Later on, after his death, Karl Lorenz, Hugo de Vries and Schermat, they rediscovered the work of Gregor John Mendel. Finally, Mendel has regarded as father of genetics. Okay, so this is about the last class. In this class, I am going to discuss about the 7 pairs of contrasting characters that was selected by Mendel. What are those characters which were selected by Gregor John Mendel? Okay, see, the first one, the stem height, that is the height of the plant body. What is the length of the stem? So in that there are 2 contrasting forms. See, stem height is a character. Then what is a character? A character is a well-defined morphological or physiological feature of an organism or an individual. Okay. So one organism na morphological athwa physiological well-defined nature irutte, feature irutte, adana ನಾವು character ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay. So a character is having the traits. It means the differences in the character. Different expression of a character. A character can be seen in 2 ways. For example, human beings ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಕೆಟ್ಟದ್ದು. ಈ human being ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ character, if we consider the character, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರು ಅಂತಾನೂ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಟ್ಟವರು ಅಂತಾನೂ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಕೆಟ್ಟವರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅನದರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಗುಣ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಇಂಟು ಗುಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಗುಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಟ್ರೈಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್, if we consider the height of the plant body, we can observe the 2 traits. A trait is nothing but different expression of a character. A character can be seen in 2 ways or in 2 different ways. So in that, one is a tall, another one is a dwarf. This is a character, stem height is a character. These are the traits we can observe, the tall and the dwarf, different expression of a character. Okay, so among this, one is a dominant. Here I have referred as capital D. That is nothing but the dominant character. And on the other side, recessive, R. This is nothing but the recessive. Then what is a dominant? A dominant trait or a character is one that expresses in the hybrid. Means if you carry the cross between the 2 individuals, 2 parents, where we get the hybrid. What character is seen in the hybrid? That is what we call as the dominant character. The character or the gene or the factor that expresses in the hybrid, that is what we call dominant factor. So that I will later explain. Okay. So on the one side the dominant, on the other side the recessive. You must know these 7 pairs of contrasting characters that was selected by Gregor John Mendel for his hybridization work. Okay. So the first one is stem height. See, in stem height there are two contrasting forms can be seen. The two traits can be seen. One is a tall, another one is a dwarf. So among this, tall is dominant over dwarf and dwarf is recessive. It means that if we cross these two plants, tall and the dwarf, if we cross these two parents, the obtained hybrid will be tall. It expresses tall. That I will explain in monohybrid cross, how it will be. Okay. So if we cross these two plants, tall and dwarf, the hybrid will be tall. The progeny will be tall. That's why tall is considered as dominant over the dwarf. Dwarf is not expressed in the progeny of the hybrid. But whereas the tall will express in the hybrid of the progeny, especially in the F1 generation. So that's why tall is considered as a dominant character, whereas dwarf is considered as a recessive character. If he selected stem height as a character, in this there are two traits. I said that trait is a different expression of a character. Okay. So among this, one is a tall, another one is a dwarf. Similarly, flower color. Among the flower color, purple or violet is the dominant character, whereas the flower is having the pigment. The gene or the factor that produces a pigment in this one, so where that is a dominant one, and another one is white, so where the flower lacks the pigment. This is the recessive character. Okay, the second character is color of the flower. And the third one, flower position. See, the axillary, just remember what is an axil, the angle that is between the leaf and the stem. Okay, so where the leaf attaches to the nodal region on the stem, the angle between that is what we call as the axil. If the flower develops in the axil position, see here, the stem and the leaf, the angle here, this is what we call as an axil. This is the axil. If the flower born here, if it develops here, this is said to be an axillary flower. Okay, the axillary flower is said to be the dominant one, and whereas terminal, what is terminal? If it develops at the end of the branches, at the terminal position, this is what we call the terminal flower. This is a terminal one, this is an axillary one. So whereas axillary flower is a dominant one, that is considered as a dominant character, whereas the terminal flower is considered as a recessive character. Okay. Then shape of the pod. See, pod is nothing but the fruit, the legume. Legume is also known as pod because Pisum sativum, the plant that belongs to the family Leguminaceae and the subfamily Papilionaceae. Okay. So where the fruit of the leguminous plants is known as legume or a pod. Pod is nothing but the fruit here, the fruit of leguminous plants. Shape of the pod. See here, in the shape, inflated is considered as the dominant one, whereas constricted is considered as the recessive one. Inflated means the fruit is swollen. Tumbiruntadu. Okay. So that is considered as dominant one. Constricted, here and there are constrictions were observed in the fruit, that is considered as a recessive one. Inflated, fully swollen. Okay. The seeds are well developed. The larger size seeds can be seen in that. So whereas constricted, the smaller one, so whereas constrictions can be seen in this one, and this is considered as a recessive character, inflated and the constricted in the shape of the pod. These are two contrasting forms or the traits that can be observed in the shape of the pod. Okay. And the next one, color of the pod. See, in color of the fruit, that is nothing, fruit is nothing but the pod here, green and yellow. Green color of the pod is considered as dominant because that is expressing in the hybrid, whereas yellow is considered as recessive. I said that, I am repeating that, those characters which expresses in the hybrid after hybridization, that is considered as dominant because majorly the dominant character will express in the hybrid, and that is not expressing in the hybrid even in homozygous condition, that is considered as recessive. The dominant one will express us both in homozygous condition as well as in heterozygous condition. I will explain what is that homozygous and heterozygous. That character is considered as a dominant one, whereas the other character that fails to express even in the heterozygous condition, that is what we call as recessive one. The recessive one that express only in homozygous condition but not expressing in heterozygous condition. Okay, and that will be considered as recessive character. Then the color of the cotyledon. Cotyledon is nothing but, as it is a dicot plant, we can see two cotyledons in the seed. Okay, the color of the cotyledon, here yellow color is dominant one. Yellow color of the cotyledon is dominant, whereas green is recessive. Yellow is dominant and the green is recessive character. Okay, then the shape of the seed, last one. See, in the shape of the seed, round nature of the seed is dominant. The seed is fully round, then it is considered as dominant one. There are wrinkles. The wrinkled nature of the seed is considered as the recessive. Round nature of the seed is dominant, whereas the wrinkled nature of the seed is nothing but the recessive character. Okay, so these are the 7 contrasting characters which were selected by Gregor John Mendel for his hybridization work. Later on, he proposes the postulates after conducting the hybridization work. So, the results are proposed as postulates. Okay, so these are the stem height. In that, there are 2 contrasting forms. One is a tall, another one is a dominant. Sorry, recessive dwarf. The tall is dominant here, whereas dwarf is recessive here. Similarly, the color of the flower, purple or violet color of the flower is dominant, whereas white is recessive. Then flower position, axillary flower is dominant, whereas terminal flower is recessive. It means the plant that bears a terminal flower, that is a recessive one. Then shape of the pod, inflated is dominant over the constricted. Then color of the pod, green is dominant over the yellow color of the pod. Whereas color of the cotyledon, yellow is dominant and green is recessive. And the last one, shape of the seed, round nature of the seed is dominant, and whereas the wrinkled nature of the seed is recessive. Okay, so these are the 7 contrasting characters which were selected by Gregor John Mendel for his hybridization work. Okay, and the next concept is about what are the terms we frequently use in genetics. It means the terminologies are the terms used in genetics, are the terminologies for genetics. Okay, so that I am going to explain now, the terms used in genetics frequently. The first one is gene. The first one is gene. So you know what is a gene? I explained in the last class. See, gene is nothing but the unit of heredity. It is a unit of heredity that mainly transferred from parents to progeny. The genes are get transferred from parents to progeny. This mainly carry the character, this mainly expresses the character. The gene will mainly express the character. Okay, that's why gene is considered as unit of heredity. Okay, so then the chromosome, you well known about the chromosome. Chromosomes are nothing but the rod-shaped structure which were found in the nucleus of all eukaryotic organisms. Okay, so they are nothing but considered as vehicles of heredity. I said that in the last class, vehicles of heredity, because they carry the genes from parents to progeny through the gametes. The genes were located on the chromosome. The chromosomes will carry the genes from parents to progeny. That's why chromosomes are considered as vehicles of heredity. The rod-shaped structures found in all eukaryotic nucleus. Okay, so chroma means color, zoma means bodies. So they are considered as, in genetics, we consider chromosomes as vehicles of heredity. Okay, then alleles. What are alleles? See, alleles are nothing but alternative or variable forms of a gene. Variable forms of a gene. Alternative or variable forms of a gene. See, then what is this alternative or variable forms of a gene? See, every individual that receives 2 copies of genes from both the parents, that is from mother as well as from the father, maternal and the paternal genes. Every individual receives 2 copies of a gene for a particular character. Okay, from the mother as well as from the father, and these genes were located on the same locus. Locus means position of gene on a chromosome. Okay, on the same locus on homologous chromosomes. Just remember what are homologous chromosomes. The chromosomes which are similar in morphology, it means in the size, shape as well as having same number of genes, they are considered as homologous chromosomes. The genes were present on the same locus on the homologous chromosomes, means the two copies of the genes, they are not necessarily the same. It means there is no rules they should be same. There are slight variations in that. There are some slight alterations can be seen in that. That is considered as an allele. An allele is slightly different from the gene. That's why it is said to be an allele is an alternative form of a gene or a variable form of a gene. A gene is slightly modified, slightly it is variable. That is considered as an allele. How it will be? For example, tall, controlled by the gene. For example, if we consider the height of the plant body, this is a character. It means there is a gene for this, and this can be expressed or can be seen in two forms. One is capital T, another one is small t. Okay, we can see in two forms. One is the capital T, another one is small t. These two are alleles. They are considered as alleles. Okay, so height is one character. These two are the alleles. It means slightly different forms of the gene, capital T and small t. If capital T and capital T are present together, the character will be tall. Or if capital T present along with small t, then the character will be tall only. Then if small t and small t if they are present together, then the character will be dwarf. The trait can be seen, that will be dwarf. Okay. So such alternative forms of a gene is what we call as allele. They slightly expresses the different characters. Okay. So they are the variable forms or alternative forms of a gene. That is considered as an allele. Okay. Then, so even we can give the example of ABO blood group in human beings. ABO blood group in human beings. So where the gene is present in different form, more than two allelic forms. Okay. So then, the next one will be locus or loci. The plural will be loci. See, locus or loci is nothing but the position of gene on a chromosome. The genes will be found in definite position. The position of a gene on a chromosome. Position of gene on a chromosome. That is what we considered, what we call as locus or the loci. The position of gene on a chromosome. Okay, that is what considered as locus or loci. And the next one is hybridization. Hybridization. See, hybridization is nothing but the cross between two individuals. Cross between two individuals. Cross between two individuals having contrasting character. Having contrasting characters. The cross between two individuals having contrasting characters. Contrasting means slightly different. Contrasting traits or contrasting character. That is what we call as hybridization. We select two plants or any two individuals having slightly different characters. Then we cross them. That process what we call as hybridization. The process of crossing the individuals having contrasting characters or contrasting traits is called as hybridization. Okay. And the next one is hybrid. Next one is the hybrid. See, hybrid is nothing but the offspring or the progeny obtained from hybridization or by hybridization. The progeny obtained by hybridization, that is what we call as hybrid. That expresses the character of usually the dominant one. Okay. So that is what we call as the hybrid. The progeny obtained by the process of hybridization is called as hybrid. Okay. Then I explained that what is a character? Character. See, character is nothing but a well-defined feature. Either the morphological or physiological feature of an individual is called as a character. Well-defined feature. Morphological, either morphological or physiological feature of an individual, that is what we call as the character. Okay, like the height or the color of the skin, color of the eyes, okay, like that. That is what we call as a character. And then what is a trait? I said that. Trait. Trait is slightly different expression of a character. The character is expressed in different ways. That is what we call as a trait. Trait is the different expression of a character. That is considered as the trait. Okay. So I said that good and bad in human beings. If we consider as an example, okay, that is what is called as the trait. Okay. Then the important things like another terminology is homozygous. The ninth one, homozygous. Homozygous. See, this is nothing but an individual is having same or identical pair of factors. Factor is nothing but the gene. Mendel used the term factor. Okay. So then later on it came to known as a gene. But Mendel used the term factor. Then what is homozygous? An individual is having identical pair of factors. Identical pair of factors or alleles. An individual is having an identical pair of factors or alleles for a character. It's called as homozygous. So for example, capital T and capital T for tall. Capital T and capital T for tall. Small t and small t for dwarf. Small t and small t for dwarf. Capital R and capital R for round nature of the seed. For round nature of the seed. Okay, so these are considered as homozygous. See, a character having similar pair or identical pair of factors. Capital T, small t, capital R and capital R. So that is what we call as homozygous. Similarly, the next one is heterozygous. Heterozygous. An individual is having different or dissimilar. An individual is having dissimilar factors. Dissimilar pair of factors for a character. An individual is having dissimilar pair of factors for a character. That is called as heterozygous. Hetero means different. Okay. So for example, capital T and small t. See, this is also tall. No doubt here. This is also tall. But you can, if you see the factors, there are different pairs of factors or alleles can be seen here. An individual having different pairs of factor for a particular character. That is considered as heterozygous. Capital T and capital T. This is different or dissimilar set of factors or alleles can be seen here, but the character will be tall. This is heterozygous. Similarly, capital R and small r. Here the nature will be round. The character will be round, but the alleles or the factors will be different here, dissimilar. Okay, so that is what we call as heterozygous. Okay, and the next thing is monohybrid. Monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross. Okay. See, this is a cross made between two individuals. Cross between two individuals. To study the inheritance of one gene. As the name itself indicates, monohybrid. Cross between two individuals to study the inheritance, means the transfer of characters of one gene, of a single gene, is what we call as monohybrid cross. Or in other words, it is a cross between two individuals differing in a pair of contrasting character. In a pair, single pair we consider. So how it will be single pair? Like tall and the dwarf. I said that stem height is a character. In stem height there are two contrasting forms. One is a tall, this is one form. Another one is the dwarf, this is the another form. Okay, the two contrasting forms can be seen. A cross between an individual differing in a pair of contrasting characters, a pair of contrasting forms. That is what we call monohybrid cross. Or in other words, The cross between two individuals to study the inheritance of one gene, that is considered as monohybrid cross. Or cross between two individuals differing in a pair of contrasting characters, a pair of contrasting forms, that is also called as monohybrid cross. I said stem height is a character. Among that there are two contrasting forms. One is a tall, another one is the dwarf. So if we cross these two together, this will be the monohybrid cross. Okay. And the next one is dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross. See, dihybrid cross is nothing but the cross made between two individuals to study the inheritance of two genes or two factors. The cross between two individuals to study the inheritance of two genes. If we consider two genes here, if we consider two genes at a time or two factors at a time, then it is said to be dihybrid cross. If we consider only one factor at a time, it is considered as monohybrid cross. Okay. So here the two genes or factors are considered together at a time. That is what we call dihybrid cross. Or in other words, the cross between two individuals differing in two pairs of contrasting characters. The cross between two individuals differing in two pairs of contrasting character, that is called as dihybrid cross. For example, if we consider round nature of the seed, round shape of the seed and yellow color of the cotyledon together, we consider two characters at a time, round and yellow. Round nature of the seed and yellow color of the cotyledon plus in one individual, and in the other individual wrinkled nature of the seed and green color of the cotyledon. So see here we selected two characters at a time, two pairs of characters at a time. This is one pair, this is another pair. Wrinkled and green is one pair, round and yellow is another pair. We consider two pairs at a time. At a time we consider two pairs. That's why it is said to be dihybrid cross. Cross between two individuals differing in two pairs of contrasting character is called as dihybrid cross, or cross made to study the inheritance of two genes at a time, that is considered as dihybrid cross. Okay. And the next one is about the dominant character, dominant and recessive. Dominant. See, dominant factor or a dominant trait is a one that expresses in the hybrid. The character that expresses in the hybrid. The character that expresses in the hybrid, okay, both in homozygous as well as in heterozygous condition. That character is considered as dominant character or a dominant factor. What is a dominant factor? The factor that expresses in the hybrid by masking or suppressing the other. It masks the expression of the other factor that is present along with that. That is considered as a dominant one. So for example, capital T and small t. You can look here, capital T is one factor and small t is another factor, or alternative forms. If they are present together in a hybrid, the character that can be seen in the hybrid, that will be tall. It means capital T is masking the expression of small t. Here capital T that masks the expression of small t when it is present together in the hybrid. Then the tall will be expressing. Okay. So that character is considered as a dominant one. The factor that expresses in the hybrid or the character that can be expressed in the hybrid even in homozygous as well as in heterozygous condition, that is what we call as dominant factor. See here, the dominant factor that masks the expression of, it masks the expression of the other factor that is present along with that. That is considered as the dominant one. Okay. And the last one is recessive factor. Recessive character or a recessive factor. See, the recessive one or the recessive factor or a character that fails to express in the hybrid, or that character that cannot be seen in the hybrid, that is called as recessive character or recessive factor. The factor that fails to express in the hybrid is called as recessive character or a recessive factor. Okay. So for example, capital T and small t. Here small t is considered as recessive because it fails to express in the hybrid. It doesn't express in the hybrid in heterozygous condition. Just remember, in heterozygous condition, it means that if the recessive factor, if it is present along with the dominant factor, it fails to express. But when it is present in homozygous condition like this, small t and small t, it will express as the character. That is, its character will be dwarf. Okay, only in homozygous condition it expresses. But when it is present along with the dominant factor, this fails to express. The small t fails to express when it is present with capital T. It means that the recessive gene or the factor that fails to express its character when it is present along with the capital T or dominant factor. So in the hybrid, we can see only the dominant character. Then what is a recessive? A recessive character or a factor is one that fails to express in the hybrid in heterozygous condition. It expresses its character only in homozygous condition. That is considered as a recessive. Here small t and small t is considered as recessive. Okay, only in homozygous it will express as the character. Okay, so this is about some of the terminologies we frequently use in genetics. Okay, and I explained the 7 contrasting characters were selected by Gregor John Mendel, and these are some terminologies we frequently use in genetics. There are some other also we use in genetics that I will explain in the next class. Okay, so thank you.